How's it going, everybody? It's your host, Dylan Conroy, back with another live edition of TechCon SoCal. We are here in beautiful sunny San Diego with Yigit from Vela Partners. Yigit, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. So the main question that I feel everybody is really excited to hear about this year is what are your prognostications on the market for 2025? Do you feel like venture is opening back up? Are more startups going to get funded? Are more startups going to see A rounds? What's your general prognosis for 2025?
Yeah, I think it depends on the public markets, how they are going to go. I think it's going to be possibly like up and down. Depends on how the administrative, decisions will be made in terms of like the interest rates and tariffs and bunch of stuff. I think that's going to inform the IPO market, that's going to inform the M&A market, and then that liquidity that will come back will actually inform the VC market and the startup market, because VCs have to raise capital from the LPs who actually need to get liquidity to invest in VCs.
Yeah.
And VCs need to invest in the startups.
So yeah, there's a
delay. There's a delay.
There's a lot of dominoes to tip over.
Exactly,
for sure.
Exactly.
Well, I think you addressed probably one of the big canaries in the coal mine, which is of course historic high interest rates, which took money off the table, and it could get deployed in places where they could make a fixed return, and that when we had 0% interest rates for so long, money was kind of fast and easy because there was no else to put it to make money. So it seems like inflationary signs are pointing in the right direction so far, but you mentioned the T word with tariffs. Now, will tariffs affect things outside of physical products that are manufactured? Like how do you think tariffs will affect non-physically produced items and things of that nature? How will that have a spillover effect to things like software?
Software, yeah. I think that impacts the customers at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And if the customers are impacted in a positive way, then that's great for the American software companies that are selling like in the US. If it impacts negatively, then the IT budgets will be impacted. And as a result of that, startups won't be able to sell as fast as like they used to. So then that is going to impact the growth. Then that's going to impact like their raises, like how much money that they can raise, how speedy that they can grow basically. So it is like it has a trickle effect of what's going to happen. Like in the general macro market is going to impact the startup and the VC market as well. So I don't know. Like it could go either way. I think it could work out really well. It may not work out really well. So I think it's the
wait and see.
Wait and see. It's the risk.
Yeah,
it's the risk
sure.
that I think we are willing to take. As a VC about the market, but some people don't.
So what's your mandate? What sectors are you excited about? Where are you guys trying to deploy?
Yeah, so we are a Quant VC. Let me unpack what that means.
Yeah.
So we use math and science, specifically AI algorithms, to identify companies to invest in their earliest stages. So it's about I spend most of my time coding, researching, and identifying companies to invest in. More like, you can think about it as a quant hedge fund. Basically.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
But applied to early stage market.
Okay. I've heard of these. Never really understood the ins and outs. So, do you write algorithms to find companies, or do you write algorithms to basically plug into a startup that approaches you, and then you plug into all their data sources? Kind of like, I know there's some pretty cool applications with Shopify businesses where you can plug into Shopify and learn a lot about them and understand their financials and whether they would make a good investment or acquisition target. Is it a little bit of both? How does it actually work?
Yeah, fundamentally, we are in the business of picking. So it's about sourcing, finding companies as fast as possible compared to any other VCs or investors out there. So we are in the business of finding the outliers among all the data sets in the world, fastest basically. That's kind of what we try to do with our research and engineering. So it's about building search algorithms And then afterwards, it's about like scoring and ranking. So most of the things that we do is like, how can we figure out like founders, if they don't have traction, how can we guess that if this founder will be successful in the future? If they have traction, then you don't have to look into the founder's track record that much because the business has the traction, so they proved it. So then how do you identify the companies that have the traction? So there are those two buckets in the early stage that we basically work on. And that's a very difficult problem in terms of like data engineering and research and scoring. That's like, what I spend my time on and our engineering team spends time on, basically.
Interesting. So from a data perspective, are you plugging into APIs? Are you scraping? Or like, what are some of the interesting data sets that you ingest in order to do discovery?
All of the above, basically. Okay. All of the above. I think maybe the one that I could talk about is like GitHub, the open source ecosystem. We are really excited about that, and going into like GitHub repositories, understanding who are the people building them, the traction behind, who are the people liking those repositories, basically, who are contributing, what's it about, and aggregating all these things together to understand like what's growing like in the open source ecosystem in the AI space, or who are like the contributors that are high influence like in that ecosystem. So now think about replicating this across all different like verticals, including Shopify, for example. We also go out and collect the Shopify data set too. So that gives us the insight about like what's hot, what's growing, which markets, which entrepreneurs. So that's sort of like what we do in terms of like both APIs, data scraping, buying data, whatever needs to be done. Kind of like the hedge funds, like it's the data and the engineering and the heuristics behind is the edge for the business.
Would there be a proprietary data set out there somewhere that you would be really excited to get your hands on?
Yeah, like I think it's the payments data.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I would want to get the bank's
the
data,
credit
basically.
cards, the banks. Well,
exactly.
I think there was a company called Cardalytics that did that for a while. No, that's interesting.
Yeah. We have some techniques to uncover that. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, hey, that's really interesting. So you're a Quant VC, but here you are at a venture conference. So you still have to go out there, shake hands, and kiss babies, and meet people from time to time. So what are you most excited about to learn or people to meet here at TechCon this year?
Yeah, the reason why I'm here is like we have like a few close friends that are in the San Diego ecosystem that we have been working for some time. So we just wanted to come here and shake hands. It's not about like meeting companies or anything like that.
Relationships.
Algorithms do the job. It's about the relationships, basically.
Yeah, I love that. You're on a panel as well, right?
Yeah.
So what is your panel about?
I think it's about like AI, the thesis, the myth, and all these sorts of stuff, basically. So I think I'm gonna talk about like, my observation about like what's coming next. How can entrepreneurs think about the opportunities? But at the end of the day, the AI algorithms do the job for us. It's just like a personal opinion, basically.
I love it. Any hot take that you can tease out with me before you start the panel? What are you planning on talking about yourself?
Yeah, I'm thinking about like, there are like three, buckets of, ways that like, entrepreneurs can think about starting a business as the generative AI comes into our lives. Like one bucket is like the, 10x faster, cheaper, better services. It could be like AI doctors and AI educators.
Yeah, just AI is eating the world the way that software did before.
Exactly. Mostly like services businesses that have been like expensive, but because like it's gonna get cheaper, the market size is gonna grow there. It's, I think, super exciting there. The second is like the UX. Like how do we think about like all the applications that we are using in the new user experience? Talking, chatting, there are many different ways that like we are using the applications like email, calendar. I think these are gonna be like very different in the next few years. So this is the second bucket. Third bucket is the creativity. Now computers have the creative power of like creating images, videos, assisting us. So there's that like creative power that humans used to have. So how can we use those to be like 10x, 100x more productive? So creators, coders, writers, videographers,
Sure.
they are gonna be 10x more productive than before. So we will have a lot of content, a lot of great stuff out there. So those are like the three buckets. Then you think about the infrastructure, trust and safety. How do you actually make the software and the new compute power cheaper? Those are the things that like I'm deeply thinking about. And there's a lot of, I think, opportunities ahead. I think the world is not going to be the same again in that way, like, and in a very exciting way.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I was at a CES last week, and there wasn't one panel that wasn't about AI. And you're at a consumer electronics show. You know, it feels like, you know, we've always been through hype cycles, NFTs, crypto, metaverse, but this one feels like it has staying power.
I think so too.
All right. Well, hey, I know you guys don't take pitches, but if people want to get in touch or learn more about what you're doing or learn more about algorithmic investing, where can people find you and connect?
They can come to the website, Vela.partners. We have open source research, like people can read our research as well. We have a self-service product that entrepreneurs can use and get self-assessment in that sense. And as they talk with our AI, we'll get in touch with them. So all good.
I love it. Awesome, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.